Most brands grow, then they fade. Most brands became irrelevant, but Amul did not. And because we go ahead, one quick thing. Yes, we usually discuss listed stock on this channel because that is where investor put money. But today we are discussing Amul for one strong reason. If you want to understand why some companies get trusted for decades, why some businesses stays powerful across generations, and what creates long-term valuation strength in consumer businesses, then you have to study a business like Amul. That is very important because sometimes the best lesson for investor does not come from stock chart. It came from a business that refuses to become irrelevant. And that is exactly why this video matters. So the real question is not just how Amul became so big. The real question is why is Amul so important? Even now, when the market is flooded with premium brands, D2C brands, healthy brands, influencers brand, fast delivery platform, and changing customer taste. And more importantly, what can serious investor learn from that? If you like sharp business analysis like this, make sure you subscribe the channel and like the video because here we do not chase noise. We try to understand what really creates long-term wealth. Now let us get into the real story. Most brands lose because they stop adapting. They became lazy, they became expensive, they became discontinued from daily life. But Amul did the exact opposite. It stayed simple, it stayed available, it stayed affordable, and most importantly, it stayed useful. That is the first big reason. Amul still matters. It is not trying to become fashionable product that people buy once and forget. It is a part of daily life. Milk in the morning, butter at home, cheese for children, ice cream, curd, paneer, beverages. This is not one time buying. This it is repeat buying, and repeat buying is one of the strongest business model in the world because when customers come back again, the business became more stable, more predictable, and more powerful. And this is where many investors get fooled. They chase exciting stories but ignore everyday habits. But habits are where the real money is. Because businesses that becomes part of customers' routine does not need to fight every day for attention. It starts winning quietly, and that is exactly what Amul did. It entered the kitchen, the fridge, the family routine, the daily shopping list. Once a brand reaches that point, it becomes very hard to remove. Now think about the world Amul is operating today. This is not old India where there are few choices. Today, there are new startups, premium labels, healthy alternatives, organic products, imported brands, and aggressive digital first companies trying to capture attention every single day. So why is Amul still standing so strong? Answer is not one thing. It is combination of things, and that combination is what investors should study carefully. First, trust. Amul has built trust over decades, and trust is much more powerful than advertising because when people trust a brand, they do not overthink every purchase. They do not compare 10 options for every time. They do not need to be convinced again and again. They simply buy. That reduces friction, and low friction is a huge business advantage. Second, distribution. Amul is not a kind of brand that only wins on social media. It wins in the real market. It is available almost everywhere. Big cities, small towns, local shop, modern retail, daily purchase points. When a product is available everywhere, it becomes a default choice of millions of people. And default position in the market is very powerful. Third, affordability. Amul did not build its identity by becoming a luxury brand. It built its strength by staying within the reach of mass customer. That matters in India. Very few businesses can build scale without respecting price sensitivity. Amul understood that very early. It did not try to become elite. It tried to become essential, and businesses that became essential creates very different strength from businesses that became trendy. Fourth, expansion. Amul did not remain stuck in one product. It kept moving into adjacent categories: milk, butter, cheese, ice cream, curd, paneer, beverages, chocolate, and more products. Same customer, more consumption occasion, more wallet share. That is smart expansion. That is how strong customer business depends their hold. They do not keep hunting for completely new customer every time. They keep increasing value from the customer who already trusted them. And that is a huge lesson for investor. A great business is not just that grows, it is one that grows in way that became harder to break. Now let us connect with the investing properly. On this channel, we care about valuations, growth, market strength, and return potentially. So why does this case study like Amul matters? Because the market often gives premium valuation not just to growth but the durable growth. Not just to scale, but defensible scale. Not just to popularity, but to relevance that lasts. Anyone can show fast growth for a short period, spend more money, discount harder, market aggressively, and growth can look exciting. But the real question is always deeper. Can this business stay important in the customer's life for years, for many years? Can it protect demand even when competition rises? Can it survive changes if in customer taste? Can it expand without losing trust? Those are the questions that separate temporary stories from long-term compounders. And this is exactly why Amul is worth studying even though it is not listed, because it teaches the qualities that often sit behind premium consumer valuation in public market. Now here comes the tension. Amul is strong, yes, but no business gets the right to relax. Consumer behavior is changing. Quick commerce is growing, health conscious buying is growing, premium categories are growing. Younger customers are more experimental. New brands are more faster. So the real test for Amul is not what it did in the past. The real test is whether it can keep earning relevance in this new environment. And this is where the story becomes even more interesting, because relevance is not permanent. Relevance is to be defended again and again. If Amul stays close to the customer, moves with new channel, respond to changing preferences, and keep its value proposition strong, then it can continue to dominate. But if it becomes slow, if it assumes past trust is enough, if it underestimates how fast habit changes, then even a giant can start facing pressure. And that is the investor lesson nobody should forget. No business is untouchable, not because competitors are always bigger, but because customers are always changing. So when you study a company, do not ask is it growing? Ask something much more important. Why is it growing? Is that growth coming from trust, habit, reach, and repeat consumption? Or is it coming from temporary excitement? Is this brand deeply embedded in customer behavior, or is it just riding a trend? Because trends can look big and still disappear. But habits create endurance, and endurance is where serious value is built. So, here is the final takeaway. Amul matters because it shows what real businesses' strength look like. Not noise, not hype, not temporary attention, real strength. A business that stays trusted, stays useful, stays affordable, stays available, stays in customer life. And for investor, that is the core lesson. The market may get excited by newer story, but for long-term wealth is often built by business that remain relevant for far longer than people expect. So next time you look at any consumer company, ask one simple question. Is this business just selling a product, or is this protecting habit? Because products can be copied, trends can be fed, but habit once captured becomes one of the strongest moat in business. And that is exactly why Amul is worth studying. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Thank you.